Hi Jericho, this is Bev. Okay, so your first letter. Before I start, I want to introduce myself. Okay, Jericho, I can give you another phrase for that. You could start off by saying, at the outset, allow me to introduce myself. Okay, I'm Jericho de los Santos from the Philippines. Good, okay. I was one of your customers. Okay, whenever we're talking about something in general, it goes into plural. Okay, who took the London City Tour Package A, and whenever you do a date, you no need to put it into words. Okay, it's completely acceptable to put it into figures. So you can have 15th, 15th of November 2014. The digits is completely acceptable. Okay. The package as stated, or what you might want to put as advertised on your website, okay, included, because this is in the past, airfare, 3 days accommodation. Now in this case, 3 would actually be better in words, okay. 3 days accommodation, which included breakfast, as well as a tour around London, full stop, okay. This was to include a trip to the Tower of London and Kew Gardens. Okay, it's a capital G and it's an S. The actual name is the Royal Botanic Kew Gardens. Okay, but many people do just say Kew Gardens. It's also acceptable. Okay, I was actually satisfied with the accommodation and the breakfast. Full stop. In fact, it was better than I had expected. However, the tour was not very good at all. Okay. Firstly, the trip was cut short. We didn't go to the Tower of London and Kew Gardens, capital G and S. Full stop. This was to be the highlight of my trip. I had to book another tour through another company so that I would be able to visit these two sites. Okay, in this case, sites is spelled with GHT, okay, because it's talking about sightseeing, and sightseeing is SIGHT. Site like this is more about location. Okay, but if it's a site, as in a tourist attraction, it's IGHT. Okay. Secondly, the tour guide didn't care enough to explain to us why they were not able to take us to these two attractions. Okay. Based on my complaints above, I believe that it is not rightly so, but I believe that I believe that I should receive a refund for the cost of the tour, as far as these two attractions were concerned. Okay, as these two sites were totally passed over. Okay, so this sentence here is a little bit too much information in one sentence. You might want to break it up a little bit. So you might, over here you want to say, as I have explained above, the fact that the tour did not cover all the sites as advertised on your website or in your brochure, I feel that I should receive a refund, or at least a partial refund, considering that the tour was only conducted to part of the sites. I hope you find my request reasonable and action on it. Okay. I would say I hope you. I'm sure that you will feel. I'm sure that my request is more than reasonable, and I trust that you will take action on this matter. Okay. All right. Okay. Your tone is correct. Okay. You've included all the information that you needed to include. Let's just check your word count. Okay, I think it's fine. 197, that's more than enough. Okay. Just remember your subject plural agreement when you're talking about things in general, as well as breaking the sentences down so that it's easier for your reader to follow. Okay. And also your word choice. Okay. All right. So let's move on to your second task about the education system. Okay. The present education system has evolved in such a way that it promotes more freedom to students. So much so that some believe that it is too much. And instead of saying too much, you might say that it is excessive. Okay, better word choice. And is causing students to become lazy in regards to their studies. However, I believe it to be otherwise. Okay, universities nowadays, I would swap that around and I'd say nowadays, universities have higher academic standards compared to 5 years ago. Better to put 5 into full. And yet there are more college graduates these days. Okay, that doesn't make sense. Okay, you would use yet in this sense is in spite of, like even though. You can say I walked in the rain, yet I didn't get wet. Okay, so you would say nowadays universities have higher academic standards compared to 5 years ago, and it's not surprising. I see what you're trying to say, that even though it's higher standards, it's more difficult for students. Even so, you still have more college graduates these days. Okay, compared to, and even so, there are more college graduates these days. This essay will discuss why allowing more freedom may benefit students academically. Perfect. Firstly, lowercase t, there are many approaches that could be adopted to improve teaching methods. One of the most promising methods, okay, because it's in general, discovered or developed, was giving students more freedom with their studies. I wouldn't say giving, but allowing students to have more freedom with their studies. This is because when students are allowed to think and decide freely for themselves, they are actually being taught to be independent, responsible, and resourceful. Furthermore, this is more likely to keep students interested in their subject or in their studies. Okay? Take, for example, a study conducted by the University of the Philippines, which showed that students who were allowed to choose their own projects were able to deliver higher quality reports or outputs compared to students that were given an assignment of their educator's choice. Okay, it's a very long sentence, Jericho. I'd break that up a little bit into 2 sentences, okay? Make it easier to read. Hence, allowing more freedom may help students perform better academically. Good. Secondly, some people may believe that students nowadays are lazy with their studies. This may be, in this case, maybe it's 2 words, okay? And you might want to say this might be because they really go to libraries, take out the anymore, for research or study. Almost all information is available on the internet, which is accessible anywhere, either from one's mobile phone or PC. Thus, some may perceive them to be not studying enough. To conclude, there are higher rates of students completing, what is the higher rates? Higher numbers, okay, of students completing college despite the higher standard of education compared to 5 years ago, which suggests, okay, and in full, that students are responding well to the freedom being granted by the educators, contrary to the belief of some that they are lazy. And now that sentence doesn't make sense on its own. So you, compared to 5 years ago, I put a full stop there and I take this sentence and put it here. Contrary to the belief that some of them are lazy, these higher numbers certainly suggest that students are responding well to the freedom being granted by their educators. Okay, so Jericho, again, shorter sentences. Okay, you need to work on, go and look at your sentence guide and look at restructuring your sentences so that it hangs together a little bit better. Want to use the exact same phrase here that you've used there. Okay, try to word it in a different way. You get the more variety of vocabulary that you have, obviously the better mark you will get for your vocabulary section of the essay. Okay, you've answered the question, you've put your argument across, so your task response is good, your argument is good, but you need to look at grammar and word choice. Okay, these are things that you can work on just to bring you up that extra band. Okay, but overall, very good job, well done.